String problems show up everywhere in JavaScript interviews, but they also appear in real front-end work more often than beginners expect. In this video, we will solve 13 practical string challenges with clear input, output, and explanations so you can improve your problem-solving skills step by step. We start with string cleanup, because real user input is rarely perfect. These small operations often decide whether validation, login, and search features behave correctly. Login forms often receive text that looks right to a human, but is messy for a program. Here we write a normalize email function that trims outer spaces and lowercases the email. Then we run the script and compare the original value with the cleaned one. Let's break down why the result is clean. Trim removes only the spaces at the beginning and end, and to lowercase makes the casing consistent without changing dots, numbers, or the @ sign. Now we show the best practice. Normalize text as soon as it enters your system. This is better because validation, search, and comparisons all work with one predictable version of the same value. For a quick variation, try passing an uppercase admin email with extra spaces. Your goal is to return the same email with no outer spaces and all lowercase letters. Next, we move into matching patterns inside strings. Prefix checks are common in IDs, routes, coupon codes, and many validation rules. Ticket IDs usually follow a pattern, and checking that pattern should be easy to read. We write is valid ticket ID with starts with, then we run two examples, one valid ticket and one invalid bug ID. Let's break down the output. The first value is true because the string begins exactly with ticket dash, and the second value is false, because bug dash does not match the required prefix. Now we show the best practice. Use starts with when the rule is really about the beginning of a string. It communicates the intent more clearly than checking index positions by hand. For practice, add one more condition. Make the function return true only when the ID starts with ticket dash and also contains some digits after the prefix. Now we extract useful pieces from larger strings. This is a basic skill for emails, URLs, file names, labels, and logs. A dashboard may want to greet Alex Glean instead of showing the full email address. We find the @ sign with index of, slice everything before it, and now we run the script to see the extracted username. Let's break down the algorithm. The @ sign is the delimiter between the username and the domain, so once we know its position, slice can return only the part before it. Now we show the best practice in production. Do not assume the delimiter exists. If index of returns -1, handle that case before slicing so bad input does not create a confusing result. For a small variation, make the function safer. Try returning null when the input is missing the @ sign, then test it with the string Alex Green. Formatting output is where strings become user-facing. The goal is not only to display text, but to display the right amount of information safely. When a page shows sensitive data, users usually need recognition, not the full value. We keep the last 4 digits with slice, create the hidden part with repeat, then run the script and check the masked phone number. Let's break down the result. The input has 10 digits, the last 4 stay visible, and the first 6 are replaced with asterisks. Now we show the best practice. Avoid displaying or logging full sensitive values. A masked version gives enough context to the user while reducing unnecessary exposure. For practice, test the same function with an 11-digit phone number. The output should grow the hidden part automatically while still showing only the final 4 digits. Finally, in this batch, we scan through a string character by character. This pattern is simple, but it appears often in search, validation, and interview questions. Counting characters is a classic string task, and it is also useful in real search and validation logic. We loop through each character, increase a counter when it matches the target, then run the script to count A in banana. Let's break down the scan. The loop checks B, A, N, A, N, A, and the counter moves up only on the 3 A characters. Now we show the best practice. Use for of when you only need the characters. It keeps the code focused on the scan instead of managing indexes manually. For practice, reuse the same function with different targets. Count N in banana, then count Z and confirm that a missing character returns 0. In this section, we practice changing the order of characters in a string. This is a classic interview warm-up because it teaches a very common transformation pattern. A coding interview often starts with a basic string reversal task. We will write a reverse string function, turn the text into an array of characters, reverse that array, join it back, and now we run the script to check the output. Let's break down why this works. JavaScript strings do not have a direct reverse method, but arrays do. So we convert the string to an array, reverse the array, and convert it back into a string. Now we show the practical rule to remember. This pattern is perfect for simple ASCII interview inputs. But if the string may contain emoji or complex Unicode characters, mention that this approach can split visual characters incorrectly. Try a quick variation yourself. Replace developer with frontend, run the function again, and check whether your predicted reversed string matches the terminal output. In this section, we compare strings only after cleaning them into the same shape. That is important when user input can contain spaces, punctuation, or different casing. In real input, users do not type perfect lowercase strings without spaces. We will clean the phrase first, reverse the cleaned version, compare both strings, and now we run 2 checks, 1 palindrome phrase, and 1 normal word. Let's break down the result. Never odd or even is converted to never odd or even. So spaces and casing stop mattering. That clean text is the same forward and backward, while JavaScript is not. Now, we show the best habit for comparison tasks. Always normalize the structure and the casing before comparing user-facing text, because punctuation in capital letters should not accidentally change the answer. Try this variation next. Pass in a man, a plan, a canal, Panama, then pass in coding and explain why only one of them should return true. In this section, we convert readable text into a format that is safe to use in URLs. This is common in blogs, docs, shops, and content platforms. When a blog creates article URLs, the title must become predictable and URL-friendly. We will build Slugify by trimming the title, lowercasing it, replacing unsafe character groups with hyphens, then we run it with a messy title. Let's break down the chain. Trim removes the outer spaces, to lowercase makes the result consistent, and the first replace turns spaces and punctuation into hyphens. The final replace removes hyphens that could appear at the start or end. Now we show the production habit. Slug generation should be deterministic, so the same title creates the same URL fragment every time, which helps links, caching, and search indexing stay stable. Try this variation yourself. Pass in learn.js, strings, arrays, and objects with extra spaces around it, and check how punctuation and repeated separators are handled. In this section, we transform text word by word. This pattern is useful whenever the position of a character inside a word matters. Profile forms often receive names in inconsistent casing. We will write title case by splitting on spaces, mapping over each word, capitalizing the first character, and now we run it with Jane Doe Smith. Let's break down the transformation. The sentence becomes an array of words. Map creates a transformed version of each word, and join rebuilds the sentence with spaces. The empty word check keeps repeated spaces from breaking the function. Now we show the safer version of this pattern. When input might contain repeated spaces, always handle empty words because split on a space can create empty strings inside the array. Try a small variation now. Use Mary Ann Johnson first, then test a version with repeated spaces and see why the empty word guard matters. In this section, we turn a sentence into analyzable tokens. Once text is tokenized clearly, tasks like finding the longest word become much easier. For text analytics, we should first define what counts as a word. We will extract alphabetic tokens with a regex, use reduce to keep the longest token, and now we run it on build reliable JavaScript utilities. Let's break down the algorithm. Match gives us the words in the sentence, and reduce walks through them one by one. Whenever the current word is longer than the stored one, it becomes the new longest word. Now we show the best practical habit. Before analyzing text, choose a tokenization rule because punctuation, numbers, and symbols can change what your program sees as a word. Try this variation yourself. Run the function with clean, readable code wins, and predict the longest word before you look at the terminal. In this section, we solve a compact encoding task that appears in interviews and real data processing. The goal is to scan a string once and build a smaller representation from repeated characters. This task is a small version of run-length encoding, which is used when repeated markers need to be shortened. We start with the first character, count matching neighbors, and when the character changes, We add the completed group to the result. Now we run the script and look for the compressed form of AABCD. Let's break down why this works. The first group is 3A characters, then 2B characters, then 4C characters, and finally 1D. The last line after the loop is important because the final group does not have a different next character to trigger the else block. Now we show the best practice for this pattern. Keep the current character and count as explicit variables. This makes the end of the string easier to handle and prevents the common bug where the final repeated group is skipped. Use this approach whenever you scan adjacent characters and need to remember the current run. For practice, try the same function with a different input. Use www.aadexxxx, write down what you expect, and then run it. This checks whether you really understand how groups are opened, counted, and closed. Now we move from encoding to validation. This section shows how to turn several password requirements into one clear validation result. Password validation is a real front-end and back-end problem because users need clear feedback, not just a rejected form. We create one object where each field represents one rule. Then we calculate is valid from those fields. Now we run the script and check that dev level up 2026 passes every rule. Let's break down the result. Each regular expression answers one yes or no question about the password string. Because every individual value is true, every level also returns true, so is valid becomes true. Now we show the better validation style, return a structured object instead of only true or false. This is better because a UI can tell the user exactly what is missing, such as a digit or a symbol. Apply this pattern whenever validation has multiple independent rules. For your variation, pass devLevelUp 2026 into the function. Before running it, decide which rules should fail. This is a quick way to practice reading validation logic from the output object. The final section is about parsing a real-world string format. Query strings look simple, but a reliable solution should handle decoding and URL rules correctly. Query strings are common in tracking links, filters, and front-end routing. Instead of splitting the string by hand, we let URL search paramps parse the format and then copy the entries into a plain object. Now we run the script and check the object printed in the terminal. Let's break down why this result is correct. URL search paramps understands the question mark, separates each parameter, and decodes values when needed. Our loop only converts those parsed entries into the object shape we want. Now we show the best practice for query strings. Use URL search paramps when the input follows URL query format. It handles details that manual splitting often gets wrong, especially encoded characters and empty values. Use manual parsing only when you're working with a custom format that is not actually a URL query string. For practice, change the query string to source equals newsletter, topic equals arrays, and level equals intermediate. Run the same function and make sure each object property matches the new input. This variation checks that the logic is generic and not hard-coded for one URL. If you solve these tasks, you now have stronger JavaScript string manipulation skills and better interview preparation. Like the video, subscribe to devLevelUp, and write in the comments which JavaScript topic or real-world challenge you want next.